This last summer, I was sitting on Ipanema Beach in Rio de Janeiro during a beautiful sunset. The sky was striking with a fantastic combination of orange and red extending in all directions. It felt so peaceful and empowering, and I couldn't get enough of it. Around me on the sand, there were footprints of different shapes and sizes going in all directions. The path of individuals going somewhere in search of something. The footprints left on the sand seemed to reveal their stories. Stories of joy, resilience, or perhaps of pure celebration. Paths that could only be recognized in hindsight. In the same way, sometimes we cannot fully understand all the twists and turns of our life stories. So how is it that we can trust that life is taking us where we need to go? And how do we let go of our need to control what's happening, especially when things look fuzzy? Hi, I'm Susie Verdi, and this is Drops of Light, your space for soul nourishment and inspiration. Today we'll talk about how to cope with life changes when we don't understand why they're happening, and how to develop a sense of trust that can allow us to move freely and filled with inner confidence. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, once said that we cannot connect the dots of our life by looking forward. We can only connect them by looking backwards. We need to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future in the same way they did in the past. He also talks about trusting in the process and calls it your gut or destiny. But how do we deal with our need to understand and make sense of all details involved in our present struggles? Here's the thing. The dots of our lives keep connecting silently behind us, even if we can't recognize them. Things happen for a reason, sometimes for a much bigger one than our reason can comprehend. And that's why trust is so important. The point is that we need to let go of our need to understand things and move towards a space of embracing what is. We embrace the twists and turns of life because we believe that something greater has our back. This something can be called the universal intelligence, spirit, or positive flow of life, if you want. Whatever way you prefer to call it, know that this force is truly committed to your success and growth. And calling up this power and believing that you're worth of receiving it can be a total game changer. The problem is that we get caught up in the anxiety of needing to be safe and in control. Yet, sticking to our safe zones can be very detrimental long term. It's like turning on an automatic system that doesn't allow us to feel what's vital to us. And then comes change and, cracks us open. Remember that great vacation when you experienced the thrill of looking at life with fresh eyes of wonder? You expose yourself to a new environment and start experiencing life differently. We have a glimpse of what is possible when we get out of our auto mode and remember what it means to be fully alive. But if the opening we experience during special moments are so unique, why is it that we can't continue to live from this space every day? Perhaps it's because we don't know how to live differently, or that we just accept that that's the way it should be. But that isn't the truth. It is only how we became used to think about things, and we can choose to live life with different eyes. There were some times in my life when I couldn't accept the need for change. I would feel off track, a little disconnected, kind of sad. The signs of change came up consistently, like clouds in the sky announcing rain, and yet, out of my fears of the unknown, I chose to ignore them. When the rain came eventually, I just got very wet. The truth is that life is always sending us signs, but we sometimes choose to ignore them out of our personal agenda. For example, totally out of the blues, you received the news that your partner is leaving. You didn't see it coming, and you'd never imagine it could happen, and yet, boom, it did. Rumi, one of my favorite poets of all times, describes this situation in his poem, The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Rumi reminds us that there are greater forces working for our best on some level. Once we understand this concept, we start working on embracing change instead of rejecting it. And I'm not suggesting this is easy, but thinking about change as an opportunity in disguise is a powerful personal step. And here are some 3 tips I would like to share with you that have been really helpful on my journey. Number 1, we may need to take the time to process and heal traumatic events, and yet, at its due time, we should move towards a space of peace with them. We learn to greet our unwanted guests with grace, knowing that they have been sent as guides from beyond. Number 2, consider this. Being cracked open is not always intended to feel good, yet it always leads us to where we need to be next. Number 3, learning to say yes to life is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. We choose to say yes to change not because we agree with everything it brings, but because we are connected with our power. And from this space, we can see the higher purpose of all that happens in our lives. The magnificent sunset with bright hues of red and orange at Ipanema Beach reminded me of the incredible creative force that we all have inside. And we connect to it, there's no space for doubt and fear. So, what can you do this week to listen to the whispers of the wind coming your way? I would suggest a simple exercise. Find a quiet space where you can relax undisturbed. Take a couple of deep breaths and then choose a situation that you're struggling to accept or embrace. Think about it from a future perspective. See yourself looking at your current situation from an open space. And visualize a path left behind you as you walked this point in the future. All the dots involved in the situation are now connected. And notice how the situation may have helped you to develop a stronger sense of resilience, power, and compassion. Take a few moments to breathe and absorb the insights that may come up. Whatever it is, embrace it lovingly and just let it be. Cherish this space of new awareness a little longer and know that you've got it now inside of you. When you're ready, get a piece of paper and write down 3 things that you learned and are grateful for with relation to this situation. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know about your comments and insights and share it with your friends. I would love to hear from you. I am Susie Verdi, and this is Drops of Light, your space for soul nourishment and inspiration.